Good morning.
Hello, welcome. My name is Sandy and this is my co-host Steph, and
Hi.
we are two of the co-founders of Kindship. We're super excited to bring you our online summit today, and we just want to put it out there that we have both had a morning.
It's been a full day in a morning.
Keeping it real today. I had my daughter had a 25-minute meltdown this morning because she didn't want to go to school, and she loves school. So it's very out of character. So it always happens on these days, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness. I had plans to have like a nice shower, do a meditation, get the kids off, and I was literally running around like a wild person. So we're very excited to be here.
Well, we are. And I did manage. I was the same. I really wanted to do a little meditation before we started, but I managed to get my feet in the grass.
Oh, that's
so I was like, oh, yes, okay. It took a minute. And it can just be that minute to recharge, guys. It doesn't have to be big things. It can be just little things. I've made myself a cuppa. If you're joining us now, grab yourself a cup of tea. I've got my favourite mug. My mum bought me. Isn't that cute? A water, and we're all set. So this morning is all about helping you to realize your value as a carer, but as a human in this world, because carers are incredible, extraordinary humans with amazing skills. So we're going to fill you in today on all of those things and introduce you to three ordinary mums who are doing really extraordinary things, because they that can be you. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that because you're a carer, you can't do other things in the world. So we really want to highlight that for you guys today. So, Steph, do you want to share the presentation?
Give me a minute.
So if you're coming to us from, so we've got, hey, Amanda. So we are I think everywhere on the internet this morning, aren't we?
I hope so, anyway. I hope so.
Steph's the techno wizard, so we should be in Facebook, in YouTube, in Instagram, should be in all the places, in multiple pages. So if this is your first time tuning in, this is called StreamYard. If it's your first time, you just need to click the StreamYard link, and that will allow us to see your name, so we can see everybody's comments come through. So that would be really, really helpful for us. You can interact throughout this presentation by typing in the comments section. When we're doing our panel, if you want to ask any questions of the panelists, you can pop them in there as well. Okay, so welcome to day one of our 3-part online summit to celebrate the launch of the Kindship app. So we're going to fill you in a little bit about Kindship just now while we kick off, and then we're going to get into the rest of the summit. So as I said, my name is Sandy, and my co-founder Steph is joining me today. So we'll be hosting the summit, and you'll learn really quickly, if you haven't met us before, that we like to keep it real, and
yes,
we're often flying by the seat of our pants. So today is a perfect example. Welcome to our world and how we roll.
It's like the universe was like, I'm just going to do this to you this morning just to make it extra authentic.
Yeah. We just said to some of our panelists who are hiding in the background, we're just like, we don't even have a chance to be nervous today. We're just like, let's get in there. Probably good. Anyway, let's get on with it. So what is Kindship? So Kindship is a brand new app. So it's a social space for parents of kids and adults with disabilities, where you can connect, you can share, the amazing moments. Hey, Marisol, so great to see you. You can share the amazing moments, the challenging ones. You can ask for advice. You can share your tips and advice, and you can really help to build those support networks around you, which are so essential for us as carers and parents to have, because often this journey can be a little bit isolating when people don't understand what's going on. So the beauty of Kindship is that you're in a network of people who just get it. So we will take you through a lot more about the Kindship app over the course of the 3 days, and even give you guys the opportunity to test it out, which is super cool. So the word Kindship comes from a combination of kindness, friendship, and kinship. And I think that perfectly describes what we're all about at Kindship. Steph, do you want to add anything?
No, I just think it's really exciting to have, now this week, obviously we've had this launch, and we've got some of our previously Thrive Tribe and Co community coming in and kind of just seeing what the app is all about. It's really tangible ways to connect daily. This week we've been in the audio rooms a little bit and just kind of testing it out. We're learning as we go as well. Hi, Alicia.
Hi. Hey, Tay.
So just And but seeing the connections, like, you know, our mums are literally just like, they're responding to emails or getting their kids ready for school while listening in, or like, it's just really flexible. And I just think it's cool to see it starting. So we're on this right.
Yeah, totally. Hey, Michelle Rossi.
Michelle.
So you can get the Kindship app for free from the App Store or Google Play Store. So you just need to go there to download it. And we've got lots of like awesome features that are rolling out now and really shortly in the future. So just so you guys understand, this is really like an evolution. And whilst we've got really cool stuff in there already, with your help, this is going to continue to evolve. And this morning we're going to talk to you a bit about the concept of co-design, because that's actually a core value of Kindship for us. So in the app, like, let's just give you a quick overview. Hey, Kaz. So there's different ways for you to connect, to learn, and then to share. So as Steph mentioned, we have audio rooms. So we've got events and programs. We're launching those on Monday. So we've had a few to give people a little bit of an insight, and we'll give you guys a chance to try it out tomorrow in our summit. Now, the audio rooms are live, and it's such a powerful way to connect with other parents, like in real time. They're really, really fun. We have a categorized news feed. So if you go in and you're like, you know what, I just really need to quickly find some information or some experiences with NDIS, you can just click on the NDIS filter and the whole newsfeed will be filtered to only bring up those posts. So that's going to make it a really simple way to find what you need quickly. We have a match and chat feature, which actually connects you to people in your local area and that has similar journeys to you. So then you're actually like connecting with people who you have a lot in common with, right? And then you can help each other. We have blogs. So Tara, who we're interviewing on Saturday, or is it Saturday? Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. What
day I don't know what day it is today, guys. Sorry. I'm just putting it out there. Hey, Amanda. So Tara Thompson is our head of education, and she's just written some epic blogs, which are then going to inform themes of the week in the app. And, you know, it's just a super cool space that is yours. So this co-design process, it's really going to evolve what Kindship is about, because this space is for you. So we don't want to just build it and give it to you. We want you to tell us what you want and need from your community, and we will focus it around that. So Steph, do you want to go through what we mean by co-design?
Yeah, so we've been kind of brainstorming a few like ideas for events and stuff that are going to be happening later in the year, which is super exciting. We'll give you like a little insight into what that looks like. But when kind of trying to think about how we talk about these events to our community, it's like, well, it's not just about getting your feedback on what you like and what you don't like. It's more than just like a form that you're ticking going, oh, I like that or I don't. We genuinely want to build this app with you. So that's what we mean by co-design. And all of our big events that we're ideally looking to run in multiple states will be on that ethos. So a chance to not only come together and have like a really beautiful experience and connect, but also, I suppose, to brainstorm and give feedback and offer ideas, because there's so much value in our community. Like, you guys have this fresh perspective. We're in it all the time, but you guys are also living this experience of parenting a child with a disability, and it's so valuable just knowing like what your thoughts and feedback are. So what we mean by co-design is basically, your experiences, your goals. So like, what would you like to see for your family and yourself? Like, what does that vision look like for you? And then what are you actually interested in? Like, what would make your life better? And how can we do that and build that through the app? So everything that we do is around that concept. And I suppose, as Sandy said, it's a core value for us moving forward, not just for launch, like forever. Which is exciting, I think, right?
It is. I think, you know, like as a parent of a child with a disability, I feel like from the beginning, I've kind of been told what I should be after rather than asked. So I think this is really unique, and we really want you guys to like get involved and own this. Like, this is your space.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of that, we have a really exciting competition that we're running over the next 3 days.
We do.
So we have a prize draw. So the prize is one of 10 going into the draw to win one of 10 invitations to our exclusive co-design brunch in Sydney. So
Yes.
Steph, actually that is your baby because you've been
Yes.
organising. And do you want to
it's going to be epic. Like, it's so exciting. Basically, it's going to be held at Centennial Homestead in Sydney. So the first one kicks off in Sydney because it's our very first, right? So we're going to have this beautiful brunch, like lots of awesome stuff happening and some really cool experiences. Like, it's going to be a beautiful morning. But it's more than that. We've got some really cool workshop-y stuff planned in and around the app, a chance for you to offer ideas and really like include you guys in this really important process. So, sorry, just to confirm, we've got 10 spots to give for this one in Sydney. So it says 1 in 10. I'm not sure what my brain was doing then. But we've got...
Well, someone will win a ticket of 10. Yeah.
Just to
They're
clarify.
not going to win 10 tickets.
Yeah, just to clarify.
10 people will win 1 ticket.
I'm leaving it going, does that sound right? Anyway, 10 tickets. So it'll be really good to get some fresh perspectives. However, what we would love you to do is complete a little form that I've created a link for. So basically what we'd love you to do in that form is tell us like why you would like to be there. Because I suppose like it's all good and well, like having a really nice day and a nice morning, but if you might just be one of those people who's sitting there at home going, this is such a cool idea. What about if they did this or what about that? So we'd love that. And we'd love that type of perspective. So if that's you, we'll put this link on socials as well over the next few days. And we've got that 3-day window for you guys to enter and submit your interest. And then we will announce on Saturday, right? At the end of the summit in the audio
in one of our audio rooms.
Yes. Yeah. So you'll need to download the Kindship app. So make sure you're on there, like our socials, which I'm assuming you guys do because you're here right now. And then complete the forms. So it should be super simple. Yeah.
Awesome. Steph, do you want to put that link into the comments? And then it's easier for them to click on. Also, what would be really helpful for us today, guys, is like if you're watching this now, can you share it like onto your profile, because it will come up then on your profile. And we heard a really interesting statistic, and it was like 1 in 10 families are supporting someone with a disability. So that means 10% of your newsfeed potentially or more would benefit from this app. So if you share this on your newsfeed, then hopefully they can see it and they can get in contact with Kindship and join the community. That would be awesome. Thank you so much in advance. All right, let's get into it. You ready, Wixie?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm
sharing the link.
And I can't find it.
I'm asking Steph to do too many things at once. Look, she looked confused.
My coffee's still kicking in. Stop it. Oh my goodness.
I'll start. So look, we really wanted to start with appreciating your value, right? So we're going to talk about 2 ways to appreciate your value. So firstly is appreciating your value to your world. Because we know that, you know, to the world, you might just be one person, but to one person, you are actually their whole world. And the amount of things that us parents and carers can get done in a day is actually mind-boggling. And it's so funny. We talk to so many mums who get to the end of the day and they feel a bit defeated in that, oh, but I didn't get this done or I didn't do that. But if we actually get them to write down everything that they have completed in a day, they're kind of looking like this lady here, like with all the arms and all the things, right? And it's very easy to get caught up in the, you know, things that you didn't do. But what about all the things that you did? Like, I challenge you, if you're on this call, I challenge you today to write down everything that you do in the day. Every phone call, hey, Emma. So every phone call, every email, every message you send, like everything you cook, like everything. Write it all down. You will be astonished at the amount that you achieve in a day.
Yeah, we do a lot. We juggle all of it, you know, and a lot of it is unseen. You know, and I think like as my girls get bigger, just from my personal experience, I'm like, we have a big expectation on our shoulders. Like, and I think women in general have that, but then you add disability to that and like looks like caring after, you know, caring for a child or a young adult or whatever with additional needs. It's like, it's a lot. And I think it's okay to acknowledge that as well.
Yeah, totally. Like even if you look at our mornings this morning, Steph, I know Steph joked and said it's like we did a day's worth of stuff this morning. But that's kind of like actually accurate. Like I have made a visual calendar for the whole of April for Imi's like school holidays. I've booked in her carers. So I was like, right, if I've done that, I'll quickly take a screenshot, send it to the bookings people. Like I've been sending appointment messages. I've spoken to the teacher. Like I've done all these things and it's 9:16. And I blow dried my hair and put makeup on my face.
Like, bonus points for that one.
Holy moly. Honestly, we are superhuman sometimes, and you need to acknowledge that because no wonder we feel tired at the end of the day because we are. Often we're squeezing so much in to one day. So we really want to acknowledge your value in your world, but also your value to the world. So being a carer or a parent of a child with a disability actually means we build lots of skills. Okay, so we build heaps of skills in heaps of different areas, like, and we're going to go through those. Your financial impact to the world is actually huge, and that will blow your mind when you hear me talk about that. And then the qualities that you build as a parent or a carer or a sibling to a child or an adult with a disability is quite incredible. So we really want to highlight those today.
I've got a few people just trying to get on. So if I'm distracted, I'm here just getting them, tagging them in the post.
She's the techno wizard.
I'm not a wizard, but
You are a wizard. You're a wizard to me because I don't know how to do any of that. And I just think it's amazing. Just accept the compliment.
I will accept it. That's a whole other call about it.
All right. So why is this so important for us to discuss? So look, according to the Medical Journal of Australia, compared to the general population, carers are at a significantly greater risk of having a mental health problem and lower levels of vitality, right? So we want you to recognize your worth and your value to the world because this is going to help you with building self-esteem. It's going to help you see the value in looking after yourself. And doing those things will actually affect these statistics that are affecting our community. So it's so important that it's actually perfectly timed, the accepting the compliment thing, Steph, because that's what we're asking you to do today, right? We're asking you to listen to this information and go, you know what? Actually, I am awesome and I do all these things and I am valuable and I matter. That's what we want you to leave with at the end of this little presentation, right? Yeah. Is that you understand your value.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the money. And this is actually a perfect time to talk about it because we've got an election coming up. And whilst politicians and elections aren't fun, they're actually necessary and we need to educate ourselves. So based on an average hourly rate, the cost of employing a formal carer to replace an unpaid carer, which is you, in 2020 across Australia come to $77.9 billion.
Wow.
Like, let that sink in for a second.
Yes.
It's huge.
Isn't that insane?
It's a really large amount of money. So the same report estimated the government would have to pay out almost $1.5 billion a week if us as carers received a wage, right? This is your financial impact to the world. What you do is significant. And sometimes I hear mum saying, well, I just stay home or I'm just a carer. You are not just a carer. You are a carer. Like that is amazing. And that is a significant contribution to our society.
That's so true. Because sometimes, you hear that and it's just, I know that from like I suppose like a sentimental perspective. It's like, well, I don't feel like I add much. So if you don't feel like you add value, financially, look at like those statistics speak for themselves, like what an impact that makes to the economy. It's just mind-blowing. I can't believe it.
And they're talking now about the NDIS being unsustainable in its current format. Imagine if NDIS had to pay the unpaid carers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They need us, and this is why it's so important to understand our rights in the system, because it's in our community's best interest to support us and our well-being so we can continue to provide that unpaid care for the people that we love. So like, yes, Tate, wow, it's a huge number. And I hope you guys can like take that in. So the next thing is your skills. So let's look at your skills. Like, we are masters of time management and organization, right? All the juggles. Like, no one can do that like we can. Advocacy. So today we're actually going to talk to a like fierce advocate, Linda Fennick. But we advocate every single day as well. So you think school, doctors, therapists, like NDIS, we're constantly having to advocate. When I go to the shops, I sometimes need to advocate for my daughter because people don't understand her. You know, I'm constantly having to explain and educate, right? And there we are. Education is the next point. So float on, lovely. But we are the people. We're the experts in our children or adults, and we often are the people who need to educate the community on differences and diversity. I know I'm a bit of an expert in communication now. Like this morning, we had so many communication tools running while Emmy was having that meltdown. Like it was, I sent a picture to Emmy's teacher of me and Richie. Like, whew, like we used every tool in the toolbox this morning, right, to try and communicate with Emmy and help him and navigate this situation that was really tricky for her. Master negotiators. And Steph, you're a master negotiator.
I feel like my husband said to me the other day, he's like, I feel like you could work for the FBI. Like your negotiation skills are amazing. But it's funny because it's something that's learned from actual experiences. Like it doesn't just happen. I remember when we first started working together in this space and building Thrive Tribe. Previously, it was like, you know, I remember just freezing in those situations previously, or I would escalate them or not really speak up for my daughter when she deserved to be spoken up for because it's not like appropriate or people are going to judge me or whatever. So I suppose like in your own resilience, you can develop those skills and it's pretty cool. Yeah. To see the evolution in yourself, right?
Totally. Yeah. So that brings us to the next one. We didn't even plan this. Look at you. Like we're just like segue into the next point. So the ability to take on board feedback, right? And to reset and try again, right? Persistence. Like we honestly are some of the most persistent beings on this planet because it's every day we get back up and we try again and we learn from the experiences and then we move forward. Being solutions focused and actions oriented. Every parent I talk to is like, I'm going to try this. And then they told me to try that. And then, but that didn't work. So what should I do next? Like that is a skill. That's a valuable skill that employers actually look for, right? They want to see people with all of these skills. And then that ability to pivot and adjust because like I need to think 10 steps ahead often. And then Emmy will go, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go this way. We're like, oh, okay, quick, reset and adjust. So they are all really valuable and productive skills to our society that you should not underestimate.
Yeah, love it.
And then the qualities, you know, how open-minded is this community? How accepting are we of differences and diversity? How patient? I know sometimes you don't feel like you're patient, but compared to the average person, you are very patient, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Compassion. Like these are just like qualities that are just beautiful to have as a human. Being empathetic to other people's situations, resilience, so that ability to bounce back from challenges, and again, persistence, like again, going again, even though like you get knocked down. What's that song? You want to sing it?
Get knocked down.
But get up again. That should be our like.
Should we not be singing on a Facebook? I'm not sure, but
we are a bit delirious today. If you just joined us, we've had a bit of a morning, so
in a big week.
But we just want to say thank you. Like thank you for your value to the world. Thank you for everything you are and everything that you do because you matter and your contribution to your family and this world is so incredibly important. And at Kindship, that is what we are all about supporting and recognizing because there is nothing more valuable than your experiences and your expertise in this space. And that's where this app is just going to make huge changes for families.
Oh, I've got all the goosies, Sandy. Oh, I'm not going to cry today. I'm not going to cry like I have been all week.
We haven't introduced our panel yet. You might cry later on. We've got pretty good stories. Yeah. So let's get into our panel. So we have 3 awesome mums that we're about to introduce to you. So look, we could have asked like for some famous people to come on, like we've got like, but we wanted to interview some ordinary mums with extraordinary stories, because this is you, right? So this is a representation of our community and the things that are happening and the amazingness that comes from your skills and your qualities and who you are as a human because of being a parent and a carer. So we have the lovely Hannah Smith, who is an up-and-coming children's author, and she runs her own daycare, home daycare. We have Christy
bring
Fisher.
them in now.
Yeah, bring them in.
Hey, ladies. Linda's not here yet, so she's just having some tech issues.
Oh, she was.
So, yeah. Hence why I've been like this constantly, guys. I'm totally not being rude, but we will get her in.
She's coming. She was on because she was talking to us in the background. Sorry, and we have Christy Fisher, who was a breast cancer survivor and is going to share her story today. Linda says she's in.
Oh, there she is. A beautiful face. Hi, Linda.
Oh, she's here. And then we have Linda Fennick. Can we hear Linda?
Oh, come on, tech. Work for us. She's not muted. Mute, unmute. Can't hear you, Linda.
Can you go out and try coming back in, maybe?
Yeah. We're one step closer because we can see her face, so we're getting there. And
maybe
Hannah is muted as well, so I might unmute you.
All right. You can stop. Let's stop sharing the picture too, and then everyone can see everyone bigger.
Perfect.
There we are. All right. Well, while Linda and Steph sort out the tech, we might get into our interviews. So just keep in mind that these ladies haven't spoken in an interview before. And I know beforehand they were a bit like, oh, we don't know if we're going to remember everything. But we said it doesn't really matter because it's your story. And this is why we wanted to interview you guys, because you're awesome and we want to share your stories with the world. So we're going to interview each of them first if we can get Linda's sound. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Linda, I might ask you to jump out and then maybe back in, and there might be a notification that pops up.
Yeah,
probably a setting issue. Sorry
guys. Just give us 1 second because we really want to make sure Linda's on.
Yes.
Because these questions you're going to want to hear all their responses.
Amazing. And also, Christy and Hannah, just unmute yourself if you can, because I can't unmute you from my end.
All right. Can we hear everybody?
Hi.
Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
I forgot to print out all your beautiful bios, and I'm really sorry. I will post them later to acknowledge all of your awesomeness. Hi, Abby. So, guys, you're going to see there's probably going to be people walk through the background. That's how we roll here.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started with Christy and Hannah. So tell us, Christy, can you tell us a little bit about your parenting journey so far?
Yeah, so I am a mum to Abby, who you just saw walk past and probably will again. Here she comes. She's 10 and is diagnosed with autism. Abby was diagnosed when she was 2, which was before levels existed. Yes, my darling. So she doesn't have a level, which makes life a little bit trickier. And recently, I want to say maybe 9 months ago, was diagnosed with anxiety. I'm a single parent, but I co-parent very well with her dad and his amazing partner. And yeah, that's awesome. Us in a nutshell.
Thank you. Hannah, do you want to share your parenting journey so far?
I've got 2 children. Logan's 11 and Jess's turns 15 next month. So
wow.
The roller coaster of hormones there. We've just navigated into support units, actually. So we were mainstreaming, and that was quite difficult, but so much better now. So huge, as you were saying, with the advocating, just constantly advocating. So yeah.
Beautiful. And all right, this is like a bit of a prickly question, but I think it's really important to talk about it. So what do you think of the word disability?
Hate it.
You hate it?
We need different abilities. It needs to be different abilities rather than
Yeah.
disability.
What do you think the word disability represents, Hannah?
Society has such preconceived ideas of what disability looks like. And if they don't look like that and they're still portraying behaviors, then they're just naughty. Like, you have to be constantly explaining, well, you don't have to, but to teachers, you sort of, because some teachers, you don't know what you don't know, but when you're explaining what's going on and things that can happen in the classroom to assist, such as sensory diets, then yeah, I think if there wasn't that preconceived idea, then it'd be a bit easier.
What about you, Christy?
I feel like the word disability is really misunderstood. It comes with such a negative stigma. But it doesn't have to be. I mean, like, for me, disability has introduced so many incredibly amazing elements into my life that I wouldn't have had the opportunity, to be a part of without disability. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think people need to think about it a bit more broadly and not just, physical disabilities and the image of a person in a wheelchair. It's not always like that,
Sure. Yeah. I know personally, like, guys, and you'll probably resonate with this. Like, I often feel like the word itself like implies like a lack of ability or things that they can't do. So when I'm thinking about that in context with my daughter or my daughters, I get like, it's quite like a because I think that, like, with the right supports, that they should be given the opportunity to do whatever they want to do in the world, right? So I think that's where, like, personally, I feel that tug every time. But then on the flip side, and especially as they're getting bigger, I'm like, oh, what if, like, we can create enough change that they can own that word, and it, without the negative stigma. What if this community could do that? So there's a few different ways we can look at it, for sure.
Oh, totally. And I think this is where that real difference between the medical model of disability and the social model of disability comes in. Can we hear you, Linda?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? I'm on my phone. I've got my laptop beside me, just wouldn't work.
That's
and
right.
I have no idea what it's doing. So
we got you anyway. We got you anyway.
God, I should have just done this.
That's all good. So that difference between we might need. Now we've got an echo. Do you have an echo?
Might mute.
Okay. So the difference between that social model of disability and the medical model. So the medical model is really about that lack. That's how it that's in a nutshell. Like, this is a very complex topic that I'm going to try and explain in this much. Whereas the social model of disability is really about the world not accommodating people's needs, right? So, and I'm like very, I'm very adamant now that there is nothing actually that needs to change about Imogen. It's the world around her is that what needs to change. So my job is really to help her navigate that in a way that is good for her, because it's not about Imi changing, it's the world.
Yeah.
And that is more of that social model of disability.
And isn't it great we can live like in this space as well, where we can have those discussions really openly and be respected, for everyone's viewpoint, and like why, because I know that there's a reason why everyone might feel that way about a word or an idea. And I feel like as long as we can respectfully share it, that's all.
Totally. Yeah, Heather's saying in the comments that she loves the word disability, and it's about reframing it. And it is. It's that shift in the mindset, right? And she's just saying it's normal. 20% of all children have a disability, right? But this is where I feel like us educating ourselves and then advocating for inclusive practice is where those barriers are going to be brought down. And that's kind of what that change that we want to see with rewriting this narrative around disability, which is what we called this summit. Okay, it's about rewriting that narrative. Linda, can you share a bit about your parenting journey with us?
So, a little girl, 7 months, when my sister commented that she seemed different, and wasn't holding her head up, and I was holding it. I need to give her more tummy time. So I went to my pediatrician specialist. They all told me I was crazy and a bit paranoid.
Oh.
So for about another 6-year-old.
You're losing your audio.
I might just see if we can mute.
Can you hear me then?
Don't
Is
mute
it
you.
now?
I've just tried to mute some of the other
Okay.
people, and then we'll just see if that comes through clearer. Yeah.
Easy.
Sorry.
So then
Linda.
I saw a neurologist, and he sent me an email on a Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. or a few minutes to 5, saying suspected cerebral palsy, ? Need mother's permission for MRI. I tried to ring him, and he didn't answer, obviously, because it was a Friday afternoon. So I was left alone with Google and my own thoughts. And I probably cried all weekend, but then as per normal, I'm a little bit of a control freak. So I then researched as much as I could to see what was available in other countries, as well as Australia, and what we could do. And I wouldn't, I suppose, put it down. I read a lot about brain plasticity and early intervention, which is my big thing with NDIS, is the early intervention part. I actually think it's too late for most of the kids that get on board. I personally believe all children should have access to swimming for free from the time that they're 7 months. It just opens up neurological pathways in the brain. I think it stimulates brain neurons by 14% just by immersing a child into water to the level of their heart. So there's lots of things that I was just finding out. And then I was given, I went to see Cerebral Palsy Alliance. I personally didn't have a good experience with them. I thought I was given a trainee who knew less about cerebral palsy than I did. And I was also speaking to them, and I felt more of a number and more about money and services that they could offer rather than helping, which is fine because we all need to be paid. I'm not saying that I'm not a naive person, but it pushed me into that area. And I'm a pretty accessible person, so I can understand things. And I thought, what about people who don't understand a computer or research or anything like that, and they're left in the dark? And it made me really upset for people, especially when I found out a lot of people who have a child with a disability normally have a disability themselves and are not able to advocate or fight for themselves, and they're left in the dark, and I think severely underfunded and undersupported. And it just broke my heart. So the more I tried to got out there and had a look, I saw that a lot of people didn't even understand how to put in a plan, let alone how to set up goals or even therapies that would be helpful for their child with their different abilities. A lot of pediatricians and neurologists, like my neurologist, gave me Lucy's diagnosis, and that's it. A referral to CPA, and that's it. No help, what do you have to do?
We'll get into the advocacy stuff in your
Yes. So that's me.
interview,
That's all the craziness of it. So that's why
you can see how your journey, and even like the maybe not so positive experiences with different services, has actually propelled you into this
100%.
space of advocating. Which, look, everyone who knows me knows I'm a bit woo-woo, and I do think that everything happens for a reason. So if you hadn't had that experience, we wouldn't have the experience with the fierce Linda, the advocate. Like who's making.
I used to say that I was going to change the world because you know how when you're a kid you think you're going to become a princess, marry, whatever. I believe I'm a mother of somebody who will change the world. So via Lucy,
I love
that is why we can make a change.
Yeah.
So
I love it so
even
much.
if it's that, my starfish story, I just believe if you're even helping one person, you're saving the world.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get into our interviews. We're going to start with Christy. So, Christy, look, we know you've had quite the personal health journey. So could you explain a bit about that to everyone for us?
Yeah, so I grew up myself with mental health issues and have, had various things throughout my life that have been a little bit challenging. I've got a pituitary tumor. I've got a couple of autoimmune diseases, learned to live with it. And then in August of 2019, I was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer called Paget's disease of the nipple. So essentially it's nipple cancer. And then they had, like, through further testing, they discovered that I also had what is called invasive ductal carcinoma. So that's, your standard breast cancer. And I also had DCIS, which is like a stage 0 cancer. So I was thrown into a total whirlwind of the cancer world. Within 2 weeks of finding out my diagnosis, I was having surgery. I had a double mastectomy. I lost the nipple that had the cancer, and they gave me implants at the time of my mastectomy. And then it was a waiting game for a little while I was healing, and they were, testing what they had taken out to find out what we needed to do next. And my worst nightmare came true, and I needed to have chemotherapy, which I had to do for 6 months. And then I also had to have radiation, 25 sessions over 5 weeks, which was really full on. I'm cancer-free now, which is really important to put out there.
It is.
But it was a lot.
No, it was a lot. Just because I know you said it was a very rare, form of cancer. Mm-hmm. So can you just share with everyone, because it wasn't the normal how you found it? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Share that. Is that okay to ask you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm an open book when it comes to talking about this stuff. I may get emotional though, just bear with me. I was actually at my doctor for a pap smear because I had previously had precancerous cells. So, I'm very good at doing my regular pap smears. And as I was about to leave, the doctor just said to me, "Is there anything else?" And I just kind of I'd had an itchy nipple, and it was a bit red and a bit inflamed. And I just said, "Oh yeah, my nipple's really itchy. Can you just have a look?" And she took a look at it, and you could tell by her face that something was wrong. And she just said, "Oh, okay. It looks like we're going to need to do a biopsy." And I was still pretty naive at this point. I didn't for a second think it could be cancer, because I'd never heard of this. I've never heard of cancer.
Well, I hadn't until you had it.
Luckily, my doctor had seen it before, so could make that connection. So I had a biopsy the next day, purely just because my doctor, luckily, had seen it before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in my situation. So like I said, aside from the Paget's usually comes with underlying cancer. They just go hand in hand. But for me, the underlying cancer didn't present. There was no lumps. There was no, what do they call it? Rippling of the breast. There was no obvious signs. I would never have known. If I didn't say I had an itchy nipple, then I would never have found out.
I suppose that's the power of really being in tune with what's happening with your own body, right?
Yeah, and speaking up about it.
Yeah, because that's an uncomfortable conversation for many to have. Can you take a look at my nipple?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, for me, after having a baby, I didn't really, I'm not really very precious about medical stuff. It just is what it is, which I'm really glad about because, if I didn't I would be dead.
Yeah, kind of. I suppose once you've had your feet in stirrups and your hoo-ha for everyone to see the 6 doctors standing around there, it's not really right.
Yeah. And look, I know everyone's not like that, but for me, that's how I am, and I'm really glad that's how I am.
Yeah, totally. I just feel so honoured that you have, with our community, have always shared these tough moments and your journey, and it's so valuable for people to learn. Like, I am educated from you, from your story. And I know that, so our first retreat that you came along to, you were in the middle. I'm getting all emotional now. I remember the pictures of you. So you were in the middle of your treatment. So what have those relationships that you built there actually meant for you?
So I went on that retreat, and I think I just had it was either my second or third chemo session. And I just lost all my hair. And it was a really, really hard emotional time. And I was so terrified. Like, I wanted to cancel. I think I even sent you a message the night before going, I think I need to cancel, or, I didn't know anyone that was going, and I just, I'd lost myself. I was just cancer at that point. But I went and met the most amazing bunch of women, and like the most supportive bunch of women. These people had never met me either. And I just remember this one particular person, Kerry, she'd made me these like beanies, I guess. I don't know what to call it, headscarf, something like that. Yeah, she'd made them for me. And it just, like, my heart was just so warm and happy. It was just so beautiful. Sorry, excuse me. And from there, like, after that couple of weeks, couple of days, the friendships that I'd made kind of stuck. And I don't know that I could have made it through that period of my life without these people. I was thinking about this last night. When you've got cancer, everyone loves to throw the stereotypical, you're so brave and you've got this, and, all these things that we as cancer patients actually hate hearing, because it's like, well, I'm not. I'm just trying to stay alive. But when I heard those things from these women in this community, it built me up and kept me going. Because I knew they understood on a different level. It wasn't just having cancer. It was having cancer while trying to parent an autistic 7-year-old. We're still navigating school and all that stuff. Like, it was really, really challenging.
I suppose too, having that consistent connection with them through, like, whilst it was 2 days of a retreat, but then it's like, okay, then you're online together and you can maintain those relationships. Like, I suppose that's what we really want to explain to people, is the importance of these friendships and your support network in your journey.
Yeah. And look, just bringing up the online thing, like, I was not not someone to talk on the phone or anything like that. Like, I have always found phone calls really uncomfortable, but I managed to form, like, really solid, strong friendships just, through social media. And I've lost my train of thought.
That's all right. Do you know what? There's so much love coming to you.
I'm just watching all this.
So, Rachel's like, so much love for you, Christy. Debbie's like, so valuable. Thank you for being so open and vulnerable and sharing.
You'd make me cry.
Heather's like, love that. Emma, I know how big something like this is for you, Christy. I admire your courage today. It's shining so very bright watching you. Stop making us cry. Oh my God. This is really beautiful. I've lost my train of thought too. Anyway. All right, so let's go to your advice. So, sorry, Steph, did you want to?
No, I was just going to quickly add, like, I know that and it makes sense how, like, people who have gone through a cancer journey don't like being told that they're brave, and so, and I respect that. It's just like, but, like, seeing the evolution of you as a woman, like not as a mum, like just as a person, as a human being, as a soul in the past 3 years has been like the most humbling thing to just witness, like, and just to know you and say that I know you is just like so special. Like, I just think you're awesome. And you're always showing up for yourself, even when it's really freaking hard. You always show up. And I think that's
and
what
for others, not just
and
yourself.
for others.
Yes. Yeah.
But you know what? Like it's through our community and, you know, you two in particular that I've become this woman. Like I'm super, super proud of who I am today. Because I know I show up, I do the hard things. And I'm constantly trying to evolve and not just, you know, float along. And I'm really grateful for everyone in our community that has helped me, you know, grow to who I am now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is like the growth through your support networks, which is just so powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here without my girls.
Oh, the feels. Goodness me. I know. All right. So what let's move on to some practical questions so we can stop crying, right?
I'm gonna practical.
Okay. So what advice do you have for other mums who you know, very often put their own health and needs last?
Don't.
In one way.
You are the most important person, because if you don't have your health, then your child doesn't have their mum. You know, your partner doesn't have their partner. Like it goes like that. It's really easy to put yourself last. It's really easy to go, oh, you know, yeah, I've had a headache for, you know, a couple of weeks now, but whatever, like I'll just take some Panadol. Don't. Like, if something doesn't feel right, go to the doctor, you know. And I had to learn to advocate for myself in the medical world, because doctors don't always listen. They love to just give you some Panadol and send you on your way. And, you know, I've had a lot of problems along the way. But once you learn to speak up for yourself, like, it's the best thing you could ever do. But it's really, really, really important, and I will never stop harping on about it, that everyone does the routine checks. I know they're not fun, they're not pleasant. Nobody loves a pap smear, but it can save your life. It saved my life.
I was going to say, I wish there was a doctor who would design a fun pap smear. Surely there's a way. Like, I don't know. They're pretty confronting. However, I totally agree. The last time I went and got one done, I made a bit of a joke about it, and I actually asked the doctor for it. What are they called? Speculum. And I took it home and I did a funny post with it. Like,
I remember that, like a Charlie's Angel.
It's so important that we do. Like, it's literally a few minutes, and it's like,
and you know, blood tests. Go to your doctor and say, I just want a blood panel done.
Yeah.
You know, you can find out really interesting things about your body and things that need to be addressed. And just my last kind of thing on that, it's not widely known, or it's not common knowledge, that you can actually get a free mammogram from age 40 onwards. Everyone likes to think it's 50 onwards, but it's not. Once you turn 40, you are eligible for free mammograms through Breast Screen Australia. So please, 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 just do it.
Turning 40 perks. That's me next year.
Yeah. Yep. Do all the uncomfortable things. Just do them.
Just do it. Suck it up. Do it. And Taser's massive growth, balls of steel. Crack me up. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Like, I know that was difficult for you, but it's so valuable. There's so much love for you in the comments. Thank you.
Oh, that's really nice. Thanks, everyone. Oh my God, I'm losing my voice.
And just as a side note, Chrissy's actually isolating. So she's joining us from ISO, and that's not fun either. So we super appreciate her even more.
Bit worried about losing my voice. It's potential COVID.
Oh, thank you. Hannah, do you want to open up your mic?
Hi.
Hey, are you all right? You look like you're getting emotional.
Lump in my throat from that. Just so amazing.
Yeah, she is. So, look, you've got something pretty like special happening at the moment. So, like, who knew that mums could do all these wonderful things? Like, we did, right? We knew you could do it. But can you like tell everybody about your exciting news? What's happening?
Yes. So, at the end of last year, you girls, as part of our group, was saying, you know, what's something that, you know, what's a goal, not, you know, just short term, but long term. And I was thinking to myself, I've been saying for years and years and years that I want to be published. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to actually take that step and send my books to an editor first. And the editor, the feedback I got was like, wow, like, you know, this is actually, there's a gap in the market at the moment. You know, I really love the character's voice. I love the way that you're portraying autism and characters with autism. So, yeah, it just sort of flowed on, and then, sent off to publishers, and they're interested as well. So it's all
cool.
in the pipe works. It's all coming soon.
So tell us a bit about your books, because they're not just normal children's books. Like,
no, so I did. So a bit of a story. So my son Logan, from age 2, just massive behavioural things going on. And at that time, I didn't have early intervention, so I learned about social stories because I just love writing anyway. And I learned how to write them, and it sort of progressed as he did. And then I started writing a bit more, and when he started at preschool, so not social stories for him, but social stories for his teacher and social stories for the other kids. So I wrote a story called Give Me a Minute, because when he's in meltdown mode, as most of us know, nothing's going in. Like, that lid is flipped, just leave them alone. Like, just give them a minute to process what's happening. And they really need that recovery time as well, right? Like, after a meltdown.
Yeah.
So the social story was for the teacher and the other kids.
I love that.
So when I when I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to send this off, and I edited a little bit myself before sending it, before I thought, okay, I think this might be okay. And the editor said, no, you've whacked it all in there. This needs to be a series. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous, so I'm doing my so the editor said, split this up. This needs to be a series. This is just great. So I was like, oh my goodness. So right now there's 3 books. There's 3 books that are in the works, in the pipeline. And it's to really smash the stigma out of those outdated autistic stereotypes. So the character is a female, because it's quite hard to find children's books with that feminine character. It's a window into neurodiversity. So it's really showing through the character's eyes what sensory overload and meltdowns look like and feel like. So showing how to self-regulate throughout a certain situation. So the first one is at the shops, and then there's one at school. And it gives that sensory diet, so little tiny things through the illustrations and through the narrative of what they could do so that children can see. So in a way, it's still sort of a social story, that they're seeing things that they can do, and the teachers are seeing things they can do. And just to give that different narrative of what a disability can look like, or, you know, that the high functioning compared to low functioning, because I don't like that term either. No. But technically, like, you know, the main character is a girl just wanting to go to the shops, or, you know, just get through her school day. But what's going on behind the scenes, you know, like this, that you don't always see, is what we really need to look for. So
I love that there's just that element of education behind it. So, like, obviously, like, it's got that representation for our kids, but then also it's not really for our kids, it's for the world to kind of maybe understand them a bit better in like a social context, or in a classroom or at home or whatever. Like, I can't wait. I honestly
There's
can't wait.
so many people are like, oh my God.
I'm getting
I can't
goosebumps.
wait."
Yes, so for
fun.
our kids, it'll be like a mirror in a way. You know, not
Yeah.
that all autistic people experience it the same, but it'll be like a mirror, and they can go. And so even later, I was reading it to my daughter, who's nearly 15. She's like, "Oh, like that is what I do," and I'm like, "I know, darling." And she's like, "That's what I think. How did you know that?" Yeah. And she's like, "That's what it's like at the shop." And I was like, "I hope that's yeah." So it'll be that mirror for our children, but
Yeah.
for other people that reading that you know, the teachers and the therapists even, I hope a lot of therapists read it as well. And I've gotten great feedback from my children's therapist that I've sent it to say, you know, what do you think about this? And they're so it's
Totally.
Don't
And
worry, your
tangible.
community will help you get it out there. To the
Totally. It's such a tangible tool. Like I was having a conversation with my little one's teacher the other day, and she was like, well, when she's in that freeze mode, how can I help her? That's what she asked me. And like, wouldn't it be great if I could like give her that information and then be like, actually, I've got a tool that will support you in that, and also
you can read
like,
it to the class.
yeah, like, oh, it should be everywhere. So I just think it's awesome what you've done.
It's so cool. Oh,
Thank you.
So,
Thank
we're
you.
so proud of you, honestly. Like we're just like proud mama bears. All right. So also you run a family daycare and obviously parent 2 children who are neurodiverse. So what are your time management secrets?
I do not have any secrets at all. It's actually very difficult. But to be honest, I don't think if I didn't work from home, I probably wouldn't have a job. Because you do have to be home. And the thing is, it's amazing because my children love little kids. So coming out and so even when, you know, the million times Logan's been suspended, he'll be out here and I'll give him so only the other week, he came out and with a 2-year-old, he was pretending to draw like a treasure map. So I gave him the job of going to bury the treasure, and then he had to come back and draw the map that we then followed. For my daycare children. But it's involving him in those, but still utilizing his skills and the level that he's at. So
well, that also gives him a sense of purpose and contribution, right?
Which he loves. He loves that.
Yeah. And you know what I really love? And I do know that lots of parents in our space actually do work from home or have their own little businesses, or, you know, I know Amy who's on today, like, I think we all have a pair of her tights, like, you know, but I think you've used your skills and your love of education and reading to actually create a business that suits your family. And this is the thing, like, if we can inspire parents to have the confidence to follow those instincts and that intuition and really embrace that, like, magic can happen. Like, look what's happening in your world at the moment. It's just so awesome. There's so much love for you in the comments.
I know.
Thank you. I'm getting goosebumps.
All right. So I know that you also are very passionate about creative pursuits. So
I do.
I'm not the most creative person. However, you even coped with me teaching me how to do a art journal. And I was just like, oh my God, she's a magician. So why do you think it's so important for like us mums to have like our own passion like that, or sense of purpose? Like what is that, having that meant for you personally as a woman?
You know, I think there's like this a bit of a fallacy that, you know, we all need to feel this wonderful, amazing like sense of fulfillment, or but it doesn't always happen like that. I think we have to do something a little bit, like even a tiny bit every day, that makes us happy, that relaxes us, that is just for us. Because as Christy said, we can get so lost sometimes in what, you know, like whether it's parenthood, whether it's our health, whether it's our, you know, we're not just that one label. We're not just a mum. We're not, you know, it's so important. And I think we need to normalize like chasing those dreams. I turned 40 in May. So, you know, it's okay. Like, you know, if you're 40 or 50, still you can find what you're passionate about. I don't think it's this one thing even. Like you can take a class, you know, I totally understand you can't leave home sometimes, and not just because of COVID, but our children, you know, it can be quite difficult going to classes. But if there's something that you're interested in, or just find out more and explore that and see where it takes you.
Oh, absolutely. And you guys know, like, I've in the last 18 months discovered some fun new things that I like to do, but not particularly by doing anything formal, just like exploring, like trying new things out. So I discovered I'm not very good at watercolor painting, and I don't really enjoy it. I tried. However, I found like diamond art is really fun because it comes out perfect at the end. I can like, and it helps me switch my brain off. But plants, you can see my plants in the background.
Yes, she's a crazy plant.
I'm a crazy plant lady, and that's just given me, like, I was out in the garden this morning looking at, I've got like these new banana leaves opening. I was just like fascinated at how like my garden's changing with all this rain, and it's so beautiful to have those things just for you, just because you like them. And I think it's a really important message, Hannah, that you're explaining. And don't worry, because 40 is the new 30, because I'm turning 40 in January too. So all the cool people are turning 40.
Also, can I just quickly say I found something just for me nearby, and it's R&B yoga.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, you'd love it. So it's like,
Can I rap?
but like old school R&B. I'm like, I'm there every day that it's on. I think it'd be awesome. So I'll let you guys know how I get on with that.
Yeah, well, I'll come and do it with you when I come and
Totally.
That sounds like awesome yoga.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing, Hannah. Like, we can't wait till your book comes out. There's people like, share the link when it's out.
Yep.
So yeah, once it's out,
I made it live last night, actually, ready to.
Your website is up?
Yes. So authorhannahsmith.com.au.
We'll put the link in the comments, and we'll reshare it as well after this as well, so it doesn't get lost in the comments there for sure.
Woo, how exciting. Thanks, Hannah.
Thanks, Hannah.
Jumping on today. All right. Pocket Rocket, Linda Fennick. So Linda wasn't here for me to do her intro, but so I've known Linda for quite a few years now, and we connected over our parenting journey. We are like, we vibe because we're just like, you know what? We're not okay with things not being okay, and we're okay with talking about it and being very loud. So I think it's one of the things I love about Linda so much is she really uses like her own personal journey, but her expertise and her passion to help other people. So we're super grateful to have her on today.
Yeah.
Welcome, Linda.
Oh, just can I say, Christy, you made me cry. Okay, and Hannah, you gave me inspiration. Why more than what I think anyone can actually really describe? I wrote before, like, the elephant in the room to me is the fear of us not being here to take care of our children. And that's the big thing that I want to push for people to go and get their checks more than anything else is, yes, us as carers save the government $77 billion is what I just learned. I'm like, oh my God. So that is a huge thing for me because that's what I worry about. I worry about who will be there to instill the little confidence and the little voices in the background of my daughter's ears that she can do it. And that's where your book comes into also play for me, Hannah. I purposely look for books and actually donate them to my school and to different grades for the kids in just different things too, whether it's autism, whether it's cerebral palsy, just things that are different from the norm. Whether it's because we're Asian or because we are Maltese or something crazy that we like to cook, especially with Harmony Day and things like that. I just think that diversity and showing people that it's okay. And what else did I grab from this at the start is when we talked about 20% of children now have disability. I believe it's even bigger than that. My partner is like, we joke about things and our life and stuff like that. And he'll tell me that I'm more of a klutz than what Lucy is and more uncoordinated than her. So I've got more of a disability than she does with her CP. So we just make it as part of our everyday life in doing things. So I think all of us have a disability really, and just to be inclusive of everyone.
Well, it's differences, isn't it? And like it's just acknowledging and accepting everybody for who they are and their capacities and their abilities. Like it's
and they all have something beautiful to show. Like it's just different things that I've got absolutely no patience. My ADHD kicks in and I have to move around and walk and do things. I can't sit still.
You are very active. You do
I
that.
don't
You
sit
do
still.
on
My
some
hands
of our
always
video
moving
calls.
and I'm crazy. It is. It's nuts. But I get things done. So
you sure do. You sure do. So let's get into that because I know, like, I was actually worried that you forgot this morning because I know how busy you are.
this morning, I have my partner's child on a Thursday morning. My daughter, my sister has actually really sick. She's not got COVID. So I dropped all the kids off at school this morning, as well as running through. So when you said all those hats we juggled,
Yes.
I was juggling all these hats this morning.
I
trying to do craft.
assumed, no, I did
Like all of
assume
us.
that.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just our life.
And you run
and
a
work.
very busy salon as well.
I've got
So
3 girls off at the moment with either COVID or close contacts.
Oh,
It is
God.
killing.
yeah.
So just having them to juggle clients and then also being upbeat and happy and making sure I show people it's not their fault, even though I'm stressed at the same time.
So, but what made you then, so with all this stuff going on, right, and Lucy and your own health needs and your business, what made you start advocating? Because so when I last spoke to you and you gave me a number, it was like 47 families you helped with the NDIS. Yeah. So and you do that just because. So
we'll be into the 60s now, maybe a little bit more. I talk to at least 3 parents every second day, I'd say. So there'd be at least 6 or 7 a week, 8 a week. That
you're helping with advocacy.
It might be just even confidence building and knowing that they could do it, or it could be a plan, or it could be how to write their reasonable and necessary as part of their goals and matching it through. It could just be to say that they're doing okay.
Yeah, there's some love for you in the comments. Rachel said, love this lady. She's so incredible.
No, but okay, so Rachel, I think, is one of the most incredible people I know. And you never realise that what strength that she has and what struggle she's going, because she's always got a smile.
She sure does. Yeah.
She gives me that thing and that fire in my belly that goes, okay, so it isn't right and we need to help other people and all of that sort of stuff. She's amazing. But why do I do all the extras? It's probably because I can. So everyone has something in their capacity that they're good at. So Hannah, by writing the book, will be showing inclusion to kids in the schools. Christy, you'll be showing how important we are as carers. Okay, and we need to be here for our children and show that. I have got that. I don't care about arguing. I think I sat there with some ministers. I think I've already told you this, and I turned around and I asked which one of the guys I had to sleep with when I was single, so I could get some things passed. And they all looked at me, and I said, "I'm only joking. Have you had a look at you guys?" I said, "But do you know what is ridiculous? Is that we have to say things like this or put ourselves out there for you to take us seriously.
Yeah,
it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong that if it was their child, they would be jumping hoops and making sure it got done.
Yeah."
For me, I am able to advocate for Lucy, thank goodness. However, what I am struggling and with pains to is that some people can't or don't realise that there is even anything to advocate for, or, this is what we've been given in life, so we've just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Or that they just don't want to as well.
Well, and this is and Linda and I have a meeting next week to talk about how with Kindship we can really accelerate people's knowledge with advocacy, right? So watch this space because there's really exciting stuff coming. But particularly now with this election coming, it's so important that we educate ourselves around the policies that are really important for us and our families. And I know Linda likes to share a lot of links and make sure people have the information. So make sure you actually read them because they are awesome.
And my big thing, so what I want to really get into and talk to all of you about now is one piece of this thing I really want you each to do, and that is to find out who your local MP is, okay, and what electorate you are in, and make sure they know who you are and who your family is. It could be as easy as writing them a letter, a card, and putting a photo in there of your family and saying, "Thank you, NDIS, when it works is fantastic, and this is why. This is what I struggle with, though."
Yeah.
I need them to be very aware, and people think that it doesn't make a difference. There's 2,713 families in the Hawkesbury area alone under the NDIS scheme. Okay, so that's just in our little area. If 2,700 of us wrote letters to our local MP, she will know how important NDIS is. Very few communities do that. They do not class us as high as what we need to be on the list of the ticks. Did you notice how many times they mentioned NDIS or disabilities as part of the budget? Even though we are divvied out a lot of the money for the budget because we are important, but they don't mention us. They mention
Well, and I
healthcare.
googled it. I googled it to try and find it, and I was like,
Yes.
"Where is the information on NDIS?" Because that's how I want to know. Like, I want to know. That was really
So we're in
important.
the
I couldn't
hidden
find
basket, but we've got to be visual because that's. And somebody said to me, "Oh, Linda, it's not a political issue." I said, "Yes, it is.
Yes,
It's
is.
100% political. If we want care for our children and funding, it's political. They need to know they represent us.
Yeah.
So if they don't know
Yeah.
it's important to us or our families, they're not going to fight for us. They're not going to mention us in Parliament."
Yeah.
Susan Templeman, who's my local area, she helps me a lot, but she wouldn't know to go and mention us all the time if I wasn't at her office every second or third week, showing her something or messaging her and saying, "Hey, I just want to let you know this is what I'm doing this week." She might get sick of me, but I want her to know.
Yeah.
And yes, we don't have the energy to advocate or anything, but I just mean one email. I don't need or one letter or something to know who you are.
I think in Mavis's situation, though, it's actually really important to raise this because there are advocacy services out there who are designed to help, but they are so overloaded at the moment that people like Mavis, who really, like, she has her own disability, her own illness and stuff, she actually, like, sometimes cannot. Like,
well, what we're talking about next week, me and you,
exactly.
I actually want to put some templates together that you could actually just cut and paste it and put it straight into an email and send it across.
Yeah.
Same thing with carers statements.
Can you put Joanna's comment up? So Joanna's just said the system's so hard. It's like you need a uni degree to be able to get. Okay, so Joanna, I was actually told that by my LAC. He said it's so great that I can see you've been to uni. This is really going to help with your funding. I was just like, but what about all the people who haven't and the people with disabilities who are applying? Like, it shouldn't be like that. Anyway, let's try and stay on track because me and Linda will run away with this topic.
I can't get a word in between you two. My God, I'm like,
crazy. People in the eastern suburbs have more funding than what people in the western suburbs do for the same disability,
which is crazy, right? Like,
that's nuts, and that's because they hire a lawyer to write up the plan because they match their goals to the actual reasonable and necessary to the legislation. Yeah. We need that sort of stuff in there. That's what we'll talk about next week and have.
We will. Marisol's just said this information is so important. Can't wait for all your updates. There's a huge need for us all to advocate. Sometimes I just don't know how. So that's what we are working on. So like, we're really excited.
And
okay,
it is
so,
really
sorry,
hard.
would you like to get a word in? Because
No. And then
sorry.
No, I had to sit on mute anyway, guys, because I've now got construction happening at the back of my house. I'm just like, not ideal timing. Could you have not waited until the end of this summit? Anyway, if I'm on mute, that's why. Okay.
But even for what was just said about us not knowing where to know how, sometimes because I've been doing it for such a long time, I forget the really simple steps. So when I was writing out to Sandy the other day of what we need to do to advocate, I thought it was just common knowledge for you to know some of the carers statements to put in there. And then I realized people didn't even realize that they should attach a carers statement to their actual
so let's get into your top 3 tips for navigating the NDIS. So only 3, Linda. I know you'll have 100, but your top 3.
My big one is a carers statement and how it affects you and your family.
Yeah.
My second one is to know exactly the meaning of reasonable and necessary and to match it to your child's disability, to matching it to their goal. I'd also have met with some parents, and it's because our disabilities are so vast in some cases and so varied, they don't really understand their child's exact needs and how to match them with the goals to actually put them into the plan. That is a huge thing for me. And then thirdly, I do think you have to have a relationship with your local MP. I think that is the biggest.
I'm actually going to do that.
You've inspired me as well. I'm like, right? I know exactly who I need to go to.
It's really horrible and hard. And when we don't have the energy all the time, I can tell you. So I've moved house. So we moved house 2 weeks before the floods. That's the Hawkesbury River behind me. It came up to my driveway just there.
Goodness.
My neighbours were completely swollen. I've got 21 staff. Last year we were shut for 16 weeks of COVID. It was roughly costing me $6,000 a week to be sitting at home. I then got funding, which didn't cover all of it, but most. I've still got about $20,000 worth of bills, I think, to catch up on. I have my daughter's therapies. When they actually stopped doing face-to-face therapies, her legs were turning in, so they've told me I'm at Children's Hospital on Tuesday, because her legs are turning in, so they're thinking of surgery. So I know I do get this overwhelming suffocation sometimes of what we have to do. And also making sure we take care of ourselves and putting all that in there. So that's why also by having these things in place and talking to Sandy and Steph and having the advocacy as part of kinship, I'm hoping it will make it easier for us all, that we've got access to it all there. The other thing when I was talking to Sandy and Steph was how NDIS separates us. We should be as strong, united. They separate us so they can conquer us. Together they can't. They have a lot of the information at hand. They have information there on what cerebral palsy needs, and they don't. And we have to fight and show it and educate the lack of what it needs. It should be easy in the system for them. Why haven't they done it? It's cheaper because they don't have to. I don't know. I see so many faults with it. Every single time I look at things, I know sometimes more about somebody's condition when I'm reading the actual paperwork and doing a little bit of research than what some of their LACs do. I had a support coordinator say to me, Linda, can you be at the meeting that we're having with the LAC and the review next week? And I said, oh, but that's what you're paid to do. Like, she gets paid $125,000 or something a year. And she goes, yes, but I can't say what you'd say to them. I said, why not? And she said, because we're not allowed to. We get struck off. They will not invite us back in if we say what you're going to say. And in the heaviness of what we're going to say. So obviously what I said to the ministers, I don't say to every person, but I said to them, fine, don't give it the funding, but I want written in there in a stat deck that we're going to sue NDIA because they're leaving this out. I want you to be aware of that's what we're going to do. It's just certain words that we have to put in there in language when we're actually speaking to them.
Yeah.
I also hate that we have to talk about our worst days.
Yeah. It's like living in a dark hole for the 2 weeks leading up to your NDIS plan. It is.
Oh, do you know
what else? Like, I was looking at Charlie's IEP that came home yesterday, and I was just like, I mean, it's great. Like, it's great, but then it's so dark. Like, it's all the stuff that's wrong with her, as opposed to like tangible things that they could be doing to like support the way that she learns or the cool stuff that she relates to. I was just like,
and that's the difference between your strengths-based approach and disability. Yeah.
You keep going all day.
I'm just mindful of time. So Linda, what I know a lot of parents we talk to are nervous or anxious to advocate, and they don't know what to say. They don't know who to reach out to. So, like, I know you've said identifying like your local MP and sending that thing. But what would be your advice for parents who are nervous or anxious, like to
so my first
them?
thing, so I get obviously friends of friends will be in a doctor's surgery for their normal, just routine checkup. Christy, it has nothing to do with disability, and they would have heard a mother just get a diagnosis from their child, and they're going into their GP, and they will then go over to them and give them my mobile number on a piece of paper and say, ring Linda, and then they'll message me and say, oh, I'm sorry, Linda, I gave this lady your number, random lady, in the thing. She's so upset. And say, oh, that's cool, that's fine. I honestly believe joining groups of like-minded people.
Yeah. Power in
sure. Right? Oh, when I had a really low day going through all my COVID stuff at work, Christy sent a message that made me all of a sudden have a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. And I thought, oh, I can do this. Just sometimes a kind word to somebody who gets it
is enough.
Like meltdown. Like when you have your children have a meltdown in the shops, how embarrassed are you? I had a child come in for a haircut, and the mother was crying, and she said, why are you being kind to me? And I said, why not? I just am shocked that people can think that. And I'm thinking, this is not okay. It's not okay that people do not understand to be kind to each other and to recognize
one another.
Seeing the negative. I can't watch Married at First Sight. It makes me like, I know people think it's funny, and we can all, Christy, I'm sorry, I cannot do it. Because you know why? It makes me realise how bad we are at being mean to each other.
I know, they're awful.
Oh, they're so cruel and nasty. And I'm like, is this what the young generation... Oh, I'm 44 this year. I'm just telling you, it gets better. Yeah.
Go, Linda. You inspire me.
But this young generation pick holes in each other.
I know, it's awful.
And being mean.
I worry for my girls. That's, like for my kids. I'm okay now, but like it's.
Oh no, I
been-
think kids are better than. I don't know if you've read something on my page once. I wrote the things that cerebral palsy has taught me, and it actually has taught me how kind people are. It's also taught me how unkind people are. It's also taught me how amazing our brains are. It's also how much we know about our brains, but it's also taught me how little we know about our brains.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of things that it's given me a lot of love for. But yeah, I'm very excited to be able to write some stuff down and help. But
I'm super excited.
I think there's a big hole that we could do.
Yeah.
And
You
fill.
Linda, you remind me of Erin Brockovich. Like, you know, you're like Erin Brockovich. That's
I got interviewed by Jay from Channel 2, you know, Water Rats and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And he said to me, "Why don't you go into politics and blah blah?" And I said, "Because I can't compromise on what is right." Like, could you imagine being told, "Okay, you've got to sell this child or this child"? And that's how politics is. It's giving up one to the right.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
And lastly, when they said that they're already overfunding NDIS, it makes me angry every single time because we're actually saving them money, and it's how we word it.
Yeah. Well, Mavis, watch this space.
Watch this.
It's on its way. Don't you
We
worry.
do. I think it's huge. It's a huge
Yeah,
sector.
I really want to tell you all, but I can't. So
We
me and
can't
Linda
say
have to.
anything.
Yeah. But we are taking on board all of those things. So thank you for contributing those. All right. Quick whip around to finish off. Okay. So in 5 words or less, what is the best part of parenting your child? So 5 words or less, Linda. This is going to be hard for you.
It's a challenge.
It has shown me that different is okay.
You were close, and well done for limiting.
Really.
Christy.
For me, it's unconditional love.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful. Hannah?
I'm going to steal Christy's 3 leftover words. So just seeing the world through a different perspective, like it's so unique, just so unique the way they see things all the time.
I love that. Yes. I always say Emmy has the best time in the room. I shouldn't care about what
It
else.
does as well.
All right. And the last question, what do you love about kindship and what it represents? We'll go the opposite way. Hannah.
The connection, the way people really understand and can empathize and give assistance, and I love it.
Thank you. Christy?
Yeah, same for me. The connection and the way that the people I connect with have the ability to help me grow into a good person.
Yeah, awesome. And Linda?
Non-judgment.
Yes.
Yeah. So important.
Yeah, awesome. We are so grateful you 3 joined us today on our Ordinary Mums Doing Extraordinary Things panel. I hope everyone is as inspired as I am. I've got a list of things to do when I get off this call.
I love this so much. Like, we could keep talking all day. I'm certain of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap up, but thank you 3 for joining us. We've so enjoyed having you on.
Thank you.
Thanks
so
tuned.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Anytime.
All right. So, oh man, so much goodness.
All
So
the
much.
feels.
I know. I've cried. I've laughed. I've got fired up. So much to action when I get off this call. Do you just want to share the slide and we'll just finish up? So this was day 1 of a 3-day summit. So if you have enjoyed today, come back tomorrow because we've got more goodness for you. So we're actually interviewing Mel Dimmitt, who is the author of the special book tomorrow. So she's a rock star, and like that book is kind of like the Bible for parents of kids with disabilities. There's so much goodness in there. So we're going to talk to her. And after that, we are going to run a session in our audio room on our app. So you'll need the app to be able to get into that. So make sure you get that today if you haven't got it already. And we're interviewing some of our community on the power of online support networks and connections. So that's going to be awesome as well.
And tomorrow, so today was a little bit earlier just for time schedule. So tomorrow is 10:30, right? So 10:30 till I think 90 minutes again. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have enjoyed today, please share this with anyone you know who will benefit from our summit. This video will stay up on all our things, all the places where it is. There's lots of places, right? So feel free to share that with anyone who will benefit, and don't forget to register for our prize draw. So the 3 steps were download the app, like the socials, and fill in the link.
Yes,
form, right?
I'll be posting some bits on our page and in the Kindship Connect group and just all over in the app so that it can't be missed. But I'll put the link and everything there, so you'll see it later this morning. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we will see you at 10:30 tomorrow.
Can't wait. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.